Hi, welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of 2 active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. My goal is to share with you how I stay on top of all life throws at me in one planner so that you might be able to do the same. This month, I'm going to use these beautiful cherry blossom images from Mandy Art Market. I did go ahead and size them the way that I wanted them sized and cut them out on my Cricut. And I put together some coordinating boxes to go along with those stickers. And of course, I had to grab some washi tape that would coordinate as well. And since there are no open boxes and they are all filled with dates, I did decide to run my washi tape along the bottom edge of the page just to bring some of that decor down towards the bottom. I do like to try to leave my boxes pretty open so that if appointments or events come up throughout the month, I can go ahead and add them and there is not decor in the way. I am going to run it all the way across both pages, so I do want to try to line it up as best as I can. And if I wanted to make it more even, I could have gotten out my T-square, but I feel like I've done that recently and it didn't really help very much. So I just went ahead and eyeballed it and then trimmed off the edges with my scissors. If you're not into decorating your spreads but want a little bit of color on your page, washi tape is definitely an easy way to go. I would just either pick your favorite washi tape or pick a color that you just like to see a lot of and you would like to see in your planner. And before I go too crazy with the decor, I am going to go ahead and put my boxes in for all of my appointments and events for the month that I know about so far. I am sure that other things will pop up between now and the end of March. I will try to balance the colors across the page so that I don't have one grouping of light pink in one area of my page and then another grouping of the dark green in another area of the page. So I really try to balance out the colors across the spread as I lay down my boxes. And as of now, there is not a ton going on in the month of March other than our normal routine items. On the 5th, I have a doctor's appointment. On the 9th is daylight savings. On the 17th is my son's birthday. On the 18th, my kids don't have school at the district school, but my son does have school in the morning, and then he has his well visit in the afternoon when he doesn't have school. So, pretty exciting for him. On the 23rd and 27th, we have flights for spring break, and I also need to drop in my birthday as well as a box for the retreat that I'm taking with my bestie. But I haven't quite dropped those two boxes in. I did decide that I wanted some of this pink washi tape up at the top as well, so I cut it in half so that it wasn't so overpowering. It is a pretty bright polka dotted washi tape, which I love it, but I didn't think that I needed to keep it full size at the top of the page, and cutting it down in half would work much better. But one of the reasons why I jump around while I'm doing things is I kind of got stuck on how I wanted to denote spring break for my kids since it runs the week of the 24th. So, how was I going to note that without somehow covering up the 31st? And I frequently do use washi tape to denote things that last more than a day or two, but I felt like running that bright pink polka dot across the page again would have just been a little much. So instead, I'm going to layer in a couple boxes so I can just note that spring break is March 24th through 28th. And if you didn't have any other stickers, I feel like this is a nicely balanced page and you really don't have to put additional decor on it. But I am very happy to have these pretty cherry blossoms to drop in across the page. I will use the Slice Precision Cutter to trim some of these branches a little bit, and I just prefer that over an X-Acto because it tends to not cut all the way through the paper beneath the sticker as well as cutting the sticker. And as I'm laying out these cherry blossoms, I really am trying to balance them across the page. Again, I don't want one big grouping of cherry blossoms in one corner or in one area of the page. I'm really trying to spread them out fairly evenly across the page, but again, not covering up any box completely so that if another appointment or event gets scheduled before the end of March, then I still have plenty of room to write in that event or appointment. As I was preparing these stickers to be cut on my Cricut, I did go ahead and erase some of the branches around the leaves so that I could scatter the leaves across the page. But instead, I ended up using them to fill out some of these branches a little bit more. Both of these branches in the top header section just seemed a little bare to me, so I enjoyed using these extra cherry blossoms to fill in those open spots, and I was able to kind of pull them apart so that I could put them in areas that would not cover up the days of the week. But I'm really preferring the fuller look once I've filled in with these extra cherry blossoms. And again, I could have just stopped here. I did not need to keep going. But when you print out stickers and cut them on the Cricut, I always feel like I should use as many of them as possible, even though I feel like cherry blossoms are something that I will come back and revisit every year. I still feel like I should use up as many of these as possible. So I do continue to spread them across the page and tuck them around boxes. But I definitely am feeling like I should have stopped while I was ahead at this point while I'm watching this over again. But it will be okay once I get all of the events written in. But if you have a sticker book and you are trying to conserve your stickers, I really don't feel like you need this many on a page to make an impact. And in some ways, less is more. And again, I probably should have stopped 5 cherry blossoms ago. But I will say that one of the reasons why I continued to add these cherry blossoms in is because I felt like my spread was still missing something. And no matter how many cherry blossoms I dropped in, I still had that same feeling of missing something on the page. And I ended up dropping in these little flowers around my doctor's appointment, and I will leave them, but I don't really like them very much. But then I finally realized that what's missing on my page are some quotes. And I'm feeling like there is a lot of pink and some quotes with black ink on them, or some black quotes with white ink on them would really make a bolder statement and add a little bit of weight to the page that isn't that pink polka dot. So I really need to break it up a little bit and get those quotes on my page. So, the first quote I'm going to drop in says, I am always enough. And I'm just using that same precision cutter to trim around the branch so that I don't have to lift that branch up in order to tuck the quote sticker underneath it. The next quote that I'm going to drop in down here at the bottom right hand corner says, I am always attracting abundance. And I did decide to go ahead and group a floral with it, even though there are tons of florals going on around the page. I just thought that it would go nicely if there was a floral along with the quote. Now, I wanted to put one more quote in, and I do grab the one that says, I create opportunity and happiness wherever I go. And I debated about putting this up a little higher in the sidebar, but I do end up putting it down below the spring break area. I kind of like that little cluster in that there isn't anything else in the sidebar. I do like to leave the sidebar open or have some boxes in the sidebar just in case I want to note something that happened during the month. And now that I have all of my boxes down, all of my decor down, I'm going to go ahead and write in the boxes. And I am using my Kelly Creates '08 fine liner for these boxes. I do like to mix up my pen tips, so I should have done that, but I didn't think about it until I was already done putting all of the text in the boxes. And once I get my son's birthday written in, I do realize that I did not put a box down for my own birthday. And I do like to note my own birthday. I know some people like to just ignore it, like my husband, but I do like to note my birthday. It must not be in my Google Calendar though, because that's what I am referring to right now as I double check these dates and times. But I think it's funny that I didn't see it in my Google Calendar. So I will go ahead and drop a box in here for my own birthday. And not a milestone birthday for me this year, but I am getting very close to one. And then in the sidebar, you'll see me put in the spring break dates. I just put the actual dates in the smaller box, and then in the bigger box, I just write spring break. That way, I don't have to cross over that weird 24th, 31st divided day. That drives me crazy. I wish the boxes were just a little smaller and every day had its own box, but I also understand that that messes up the layouts. So I get it, I just don't like it. Then I also want to go ahead and drop in this box for the retreat that I plan on taking with my bestie towards the end of the month. It will be a little bit hectic towards the end of this month, and I may also have to make a trip to Cleveland for work, still up in the air. So March could get a little crazy still. I will come back after I'm done recording and drop in my flight information in those last two boxes. And I think this is where I will call it done. Again, I probably should have not dropped so many of the cherry blossoms in, but once I got the text written in, I feel like it is fairly balanced. So this is the spread for the month. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everybody has a great March, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.